Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
Good afternoon and welcome in. My name is Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. Tommy Wirtz is here. And the Mason Crosby is here. What's up, Mason?
Do you think I'm the only one?
No, you're the one.
The one.
You're not the only one. I didn't say you're the only one.
I'm the only Packer all-time leading scorer, Mason Crosby, as the lady said. So that is nice. I do have that. I can hang my hat on that.
What's up, lady?
What's up, lady?
Welcome to Human Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
Which is becoming less and less Human Tuesday in Mason Crosby's life, as Human Tuesday as a player is now Human Wednesday as a radio host. Welcome to trade deadline in the NFL. Some trades already gone. Sauce Gardner from the Jets to the Colts, among others. Lots of rumors going around. Bucks with a buzzer beater last night, and lots of guests in the 1 o'clock hour. So it's just us at high noon.
Oh, yeah. We're here for high noon, and I was just processing all this stuff. I mean, there are so many trades happening. There's like moves going all over the place. Raiders, Titans they're just getting rid of their whole, all their teams.
Yep.
They're getting rid of everybody.
Jets now.
The Jets, I mean, this Sauce Gardner trade has to be one of the bigger trades that has happened in season in a very long time, right?
Absolutely. A 2 first-round pick for a starting cornerback, a star in the league. I don't know what it says. Like the Jets now full rebuild mode 1 year post Aaron Rodgers. But it's definitely one of the bigger trades we've seen.
I mean, let's be real. The Jets have been in rebuild mode since like 1970.
But they thought they had the Aaron Rodgers window. Clearly, that experiment didn't work out, and I think they are now willing to just toss it all in and not win a game.
He didn't like Aaron Glenn's pants. Like he just
did anybody like
were just a little too high?
Yeah. It was the pumpkin spice candle in the locker room.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're hearing here.
Those things get me.
And they come with the contract too, right? So they have a 4-year, $120 million extension with Sauce Gardner as well that was signed this offseason. So he's in Indy for some time.
Yeah, and so Indy's really leaning into this, thinking that they're actually good, which I think is another question. Like they got Daniel Jones.
So you're questioning if the Colts are good or not?
I am. Oh, for sure.
I think they're good.
They're regular season good. They're not good.
Yeah, but I mean, you bring in a piece like this, if they felt like a corner, something like that was
if it meshes.
A big piece missing.
All right,
so your chances that's a huge move. I mean,
so Mason,
they're going for it.
Tell me about the trade deadline in the NFL, because, as a kid growing up, the baseball trade deadline was a big deal, and NBA wasn't anything, and NFL wasn't anything. Yeah. Like they were not. It was Major League Baseball, right? Yeah. And NFL. When did you notice that the NFL trade deadline started to become at least a little more relevant? Not necessarily for the Packers, because we know Ted Thompson would never make a trade in a million years, but for other teams or for the NFL in general, when did you start noticing that?
I just want one little funny thing I saw today on the internet. I can't remember who posted it. Maybe it was Aaron Nagler, but he was just like, he's like, my annual post of trade deadline for the Green Bay Packers, and it's Coach McCarthy. And he's, do you have the audio? Is that what you're looking for, Tom?
I can get it for you.
Because he's I guess it's one time he was asked, he was like, yeah, what's the trade deadline like there in Green Bay? And Coach McCarthy's like, isn't the trade deadline next week? And they're like, no, it's today. And he's like, well, there you go. We haven't even talked about anything. Yeah, exactly. So that was my time there in Green Bay. It was like, trade deadline. I mean, maybe you're going to go and try to shore up the lineup, get somebody from another team. But a lot of that's changed now too, right? Because you can carry more players on practice squad. These teams that are looking to make a push here in the second half of the season, they don't seem afraid to go and get a guy, right? And I think with the salary cap where it's going as well, those numbers going up, an Indianapolis Colts team has some room in their cap, and then they know that number next spring is going to go up exponentially. so they can take on a Sauce Gardner contract.
Yeah.
Give up 2 first-rounders, try to win a Super Bowl now, try to be that team right now, and then just kind of piece it together next year. So I think it's changed so much. Yeah, like I said, when I was playing until about the last 2-3 years,
Right.
These trade deadlines were nothing burgers, and now they've become something really serious.
Big Mike on the trade deadline.
What's the trade deadline like around here on yesterday? What's the trade deadline like around here? Is it a lot of conversation or just standard?
Is that what you guys? I thought it was next week. No? That's what it's like.
It's amazing.
I thought it was next week.
We should have asked Big Mike about trade deadline moves. That would have been awesome. We should have told him like 2 weeks ago the trade deadline was next week, and he'd have been like, "Oh yeah, I believe you." Like he probably
seriously
likes more out of it even.
Yeah. What are the Packers thinking? So let's talk about the Packers and what they could be thinking. Here as the deadline is drawing near. We do have positions.
Rumors.
Yeah. What rumors? What positions? I know they actually. The rumors, it sounds like they reached out to Oakland, right? I know they reached and asked about a price for is it Achane? How do you say his last name there? The running back for the Dolphins.
Achane.
Yeah. Achane. I don't know.
Yep. Achane.
So yeah, I heard they reached out to them. So who do you think would be a person or a move that this Green Bay Packers team would go after, and what would they be willing to give up? Would it be a player trade, or would it, for a guy in Oakland, the mayor,
right? The tight end.
Is that going to be a 6th round draft type of thing?
So
what's it going to be?
Fifth at the highest for anybody they talk to, right?
Yeah,
exactly. I couldn't see anything more than a 5th rounder. Mayor, I know that there's rumors that the Packers have at least called about David Njoku from Cleveland. I'm guessing they are calling a number of teams about tight ends.
Yeah,
that would make sense to me. I'd be surprised if anything happened.
Tough.
Right?
They're in a tough spot though, right? Because it's like, what team's going to move on? They know that if the Packers are calling, they might be, not desperate, but they're really interested in wanting to see if they can shore up. Everyone saw Tucker Kraft tear his ACL, so it's like if you're calling as the Green Bay Packers, that price tag goes up. Just a little bit. So now people are going to say, hey, we want a 3rd, 4th round pick for a 6th round pick type guy.
No.
And you're just not going to do it. I would not do that.
If the Packers are to make a move, would you rather it be on offense or defense then? If you just simplify it that way, do you think that there is more need to get another weapon after Tucker Kraft goes down? Or do you think that they need to shore up the defense, whether it is in the secondary or defensive line, wherever
I'd get another
go?
Defensive lineman. I'd always go.
Ding, ding, ding.
Howard Green, right? Go get Howard
Yes,
Green.
That's what I want.
Find your Howard Green
guy in the middle.
Yeah, find a guy there.
Now,
find maybe even another
released.
linebacker. Find somebody, right? Just find somebody.
Do you think that the Cowboys would be interested in Kenny Clark going on the move or anything?
That would be masterful. Somehow Kenny Clark comes back to the Green Bay Packers.
Get them back here.
I love it.
I think that Green Bay is going to be pretty quiet, and it feels like even with all these conversations and rumors, now as Packer fans, we're just getting greedy, right at this point where if you make the deal, the splash of the century for Green Bay being bringing in Micah Parsons for 2 first-round picks, which, by the way, I feel like they also had to give up A.D. Mitchell in that trade, a wide receiver for Indianapolis. The Packers walk away looking like geniuses in the Micah Parsons trade, even more, in my opinion, where you get this premium edge rusher, one of the best in the league, versus one of the best corners in the league who actually has had not successful seasons in the NFL as well, too, Sauce Gardner. And to give up that price tag in the middle of a year versus at the beginning of the year, I think that Green Bay walks away feeling even better about that Micah Parsons.
But that's what happens. Mid-season trades, I think the price tag goes up.
Yeah.
Because if you are reaching out and you have a need that needs to be filled and you're going to try to chase a championship or your good team, that price tag is going to be higher than what you would pay any other time of the year.
What about the opportunity, Mitch? What do you think about if Green Bay is selling off some guys to try to get picks back after a Micah Parsons trade? Like, what if they're trading away a wide receiver, or, Rasheed Walker has had calls come his way, or
and
something?
Igbare, I think, has been a name that's been tossed out. Again, I don't see that as the Packer way. I know they love draft picks, and obviously that all started again with Ted Thompson, and Goody likes his draft picks as well. But unless they really get an offer of a draft pick that is significantly better than they have somebody rated at, like if somebody gives them a 4th rounder for Enigbare or Dontavian Wicks, you got to take that. That's worth it. But if somebody's giving you a 6th rounder for those guys,
no,
or 5th, I just don't see them actively looking to make that deal. And I don't know why somebody else would, first of all, Wicks is, it's too bad that he's banged up, because I think Wicks actually could have been a guy they could have gotten a draft pick for. But I just think I think status quo. I think it's just the Packers way, unless there's something glaring or something comes to them that smacks them over the head, kind of like Micah Parsons. That all developed and they had to act on it. I don't think they're seeing, I'd be surprised if they saw something like that today.
Yeah, and I don't even think, though, it's like as a fan base, as media, like as the organization, it wouldn't be like greedy in a sense if they went and like chased after something. If they saw the value and they went and got it, you look at the Eagles. Look what the Eagles are doing. I mean, they're greedy. They're greedy, and they've
and they won the Super Bowl. So
they've proven to be a team that will go and stack players on top of a pretty good roster already. If they just feel like there's like a little void that they need to fill, they're one of those teams that really just tries to put all the pieces together. Packers are have traditionally not been that, right? Like they're just like, okay, next man up. We have a guy we like. We're hoping he can step into a role and do something, to prove that we've developed well, or we picked, the right people to be in this organization. So I don't see anything big going. Would I like to see some? I don't know. I again, this time of year, it has to be the right fit for sure.
Right.
And I don't think if you get Jaden Reed back, Lucas Van Ness, might be coming back, fairly quick. You have Christian Watson. I think he's gonna get a more like expanded role, probably moving forward, even if it's not this week, here in the coming weeks, where he's not just the stretch the field guy. They're gonna probably ask him to do more now that he's proven that he can come through a few games healthy. So I think the weapons on offense are pretty solid. You're just gonna have to come up with a really solid plan to get it to those playmakers and, draw up some stuff that doesn't involve a tight end and Tucker Kraft. So that's where we need to be. Again, and then that falls a lot on LaFleur. Like, how does he respond here? I do think, fortunately for LaFleur, in some adverse situations when he has had bad games or bad moments, he's rebounded pretty well. So he's come out of it and said, like, he's figured out a way to slow it down for the next game. And then I feel like success sometimes up there in Green Bay under LaFleur has actually proven to be bad in the following weeks, because then it's like, all right, we had success. Now we're going to just do 35 different things instead of just hang your hat on something and just plod along and find a way to be successful in those moments.
Matt LaFleur was asked yesterday on how his offense might be built for injury on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, that's the beauty of having multiple guys that you feel confident in, and you just got to pivot. And like, that's part of this game, is you have to adapt sometimes to the circumstances that are presented to you. And, especially when it comes to personnel.
So the question was basically asking, with Kraft going down, you have this offense that seems to feed everybody. Is this now something you can rebound from? Because Tucker Kraft maybe had certain games where he was the number one option, but really hadn't yet even been established quite yet as the number one option.
Yeah, I think Romeo Doubs, Mitch loves this. Just give him the ball, 15
Stop.
targets.
Nope.
Why?
Way to suck. Wait a sec. You want
what
to
a
lose football
change
games?
up.
Go right ahead and lose football games.
I just love. I wanted to throw that out there, but I like y'all know how I feel. Like my mindset. If I'm and again, I was under Coach McCarthy as a head coach for a long time, and we talked about it's spread it out. Like let Aaron just do his thing. If someone's hot, Aaron's gonna find them and get it into the best option's hands. For if it is just for that game, that's fine. But it's like feed what is working. I love the idea of just feeding the machine, right? Like you're just feeding like all the good things. I'm not a big proponent of consistently inconsistent and like we're gonna do a lot of things so that maybe it'll confuse everyone else, while at the same time, if we're not on the same page, we're confused in our own right. I don't like that mindset. So I think for me, if I'm Jordan Love, if I'm Matt LaFleur, I am leaning into the guys I trust the most, and we're going to just build a plan, especially this week as we come off of Tucker Kraft being injured, and we're going to feed those guys that are the ones we can depend on a regular basis.
Got an update on a trade here
what do
with
we got?
Adam Schefter. Nothing too crazy, but it is within the division. The Browns are sending defensive end Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and a 7th-round pick
Just made up a name.
to the Chicago Bears in exchange for a 6th-round pick.
Well,
so
and
they
the
picked
Bears,
up an edge
the
rusher.
Bears just had somebody out for the year. Is he out for the year? The guy whose name I can't pronounce.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Is
Joe
he out,
Tryon-Shoyinka's cousin. I
right.
got you.
Is he out for the year, or is he out for an extended period of time? I think 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talking text line. 414-677-1250. Do you want to see the Green Bay Packers make a trade today? And if yes, what position do you want them to trade for? Mason, remember a year ago, we were very on board with, hey, just get a cornerback. Just get like the 4th cornerback in the room. Get the 5th corner. Jair was in and out. We didn't know what was going to happen. We were all hopeful that he could come back, but we didn't know what was going to happen with him. And we were just saying, like, why does it hurt to go spend a 6th rounder just to build depth? And I guess I'd say that again this year for the defensive line. Where does it hurt for the Packers to spend a 6th rounder to go get a fat guy?
Yeah.
Who can just go in the middle of the D-line?
Yeah, I think you're not off there if you find the right fit, the right type of guy. Like I think for this Packers defense, you have to be high energy. You have to be a relentless pursuer of the football. So that's not going to be every defensive lineman. That you can't just like throw a blanket over there and say like, all right, this defensive lineman's going to fit in our system. So, but yeah, I do think they could use a big run stopper. Like if you're going to do Micah Parsons and the A gap, doing him like moving him around all the time, I would love a giant nose tackle for him to play off of as well, right? So if they do decide to, like Dowdle did and the Carolina Panthers did in that final drive, decide to hit you with a draw up the middle, you got a big body in there just at least to hold the line, right?
Right.
Because it feels like whenever like the Browns and the Carolina game, we know they're trying to press to get down the field, so we're rushing relentlessly trying to get pressure, and we just gave up stuff right down the middle of the field because we just didn't have that presence and that body. So I'm right there with you. If there's a big guy that they feel like that can really help this team, you can never have enough of those guys. Do you think this team needs a defensive back? I mean, is that like we had someone on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 262 says, doesn't the Hobbs injury force the Packers' hand to go find a DB?
Is he injured or does he stink?
No, he's
2+
hurt.
weeks.
He's hurt.
He has
Yeah.
an injury now. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Phantom?
right.
I
Is
don't know.
it on the IL with pride? Like it feels like a little bit right now because he was obviously benched and he has had some health issues already now. But I don't know. Carrington Valentine going to be the guy? I don't love that.
But is that enough? Like, again, like Valentine is going to be the guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're talking about getting a starter here, Tommy. I think
Yeah.
we're starting, again, like kind of like we did last year.
You just have to get some
building
depth.
for depth. The question is, Nate Hobbs is going to miss at least 2 games with a sprained MCL. It might be more. Do you need – because if you don't go get somebody, at some point, Bo Melton's going to play an important down on defense.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you willing to have Bo Melton play an important down on defense in an important November or December football game, or do you want a more experienced cornerback whoever that may be, to take up that spot.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head that this Packers team, there isn't a starting position that like you just need to go fill, right? You don't need a Sauce Gardner. You don't need like a guy that is going to come in and really shore up a position, but you need depth. You need some security blankets for whenever injuries are going to happen. Things are going to be, guy might just miss a game or he's going to get dinged in, during a game. So I totally agree. If you can get a late 6th, 7th round pick and find a guy that can come in and be that depth piece that you feel really good about, and who knows, could develop into something. I think that's where the Packers would look, but I'm not going to be surprised if they don't do anything because again, that's just their way. They might be looking at practice squads. They might add some players to this roster, but a trade feels pretty far-fetched at this point.
Tyson from Zillow, Washington, one of our frequent texters, texts into the Nicolay Law Talking text line, 414-677-1250. I'd like to see us go get Asante Samuel Jr. off the streets and trade for Mayer from Oakland. Asante Samuel Jr., was on the IL last year. He's 26. Certainly worth kicking the tires on.
Just got cleared.
Right. Like you can kick
He's cleared.
Yeah,
available?
He just got cleared. I think that'd be interesting. Jeremy from Racine says trade for Achan. So we have our Thunder and Lightning, then sign Samuel Jr. and see what he has. Find some DL unless Van Ness is coming back. I think DL versus Van Ness is not the same thing. Like we're talking about an interior defensive lineman, right? Like a big dude.
I think our edge guys are good. I mean, Igbare, you have
Rashad,
you're not, you have,
and it's not a position of need, right, Mace?
Yeah, exactly.
But when you remember Cheetah Package beginning of the season, like that was very effective, and they have not been able to show that look with Lucas Van Ness.
Right.
That was with
but
LVN, Gary, and Micah all on the field at the same time. And that was awesome to watch that.
And again, I like the Achan conversation. I like what Emmanuel Wilson has done. He's just similar enough to Josh Jacobs, though, that it's not that Thunder and Lightning type deal, like where it's like you don't have the scat back. I would love to find like just another piece of like lightning speed on that offense that you get the ball in their hands and like in really favorable matchups, right? And space and different things. So I think I don't dislike the idea of going and get.
I think
they're probably
going to be
asking
too
too much. Yeah,
right.
for sure.
I mean, you can't trade away your 2026 second round pick now after you traded away the first round pick, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's what the Dolphins are going to want.
Like that's fair. Yeah.
414-677-1250. Keep it coming in on the Nicolay Law Talking text line. Do you want the Packers to make a trade? What position? A couple people already on board for kicking the tires on Asante Samuel Jr., who did just get cleared. Spent a lot of time with the Chargers, and we'll see. Somebody's gonna bring him in, right? Whether he makes the team, whether he makes a team or not, somebody's going to bring him in.
He'll be.
We will keep our eyes glued to all the trade deadline rumors, all the trade deadline trades. And see what happens there. We've got plenty left to get to on today's show. We want to talk a little bit about Giannis and the Bucks in Indianapolis last night and booing Miles Turner. We got to get into that. We got to talk about the Packers kicking concerns and specifically about Luke Musgrave and what he's going to bring now that he is number one on the depth chart. Rohan Katti from the Eurostep podcast is going to join us at 1. Jason Hirschhorn, Triple H, is going to join us at 1:20, co-founder of The Leap. So much to get to right here on the Mason Crosby Show. We are presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers.
Mamma mia, mamma mia. Mamma mia, let me go. Kennedy!
Out Giannis against Siakam with time ticking. We're tied at 1:15. Single digits on the game clock. Giannis with Neesmith switched out on him. Giannis with the back down. The paint away. The shot is good. With zeros on the shot clock. Giannis with the game winner. Kennedy.
And there's your game winner last night in Indianapolis. Giannis with a crazy backstep fadeaway. Makes 1 out of 15 times, but he made it last night, and that's all that matters. The Milwaukee Bucks beat the Pacers, the G League Pacers, 117-115. Miles Turner booed during his video. All sorts of fun storylines, as always, between the Bucks and Pacers. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon.
They just booed him because they're really bad. Like
They are
I
really
feel
bad.
like if they were playing at a level they were last year, they wouldn't have been so salty about him leaving.
I mean, it's kind of mini rivalry. I mean, I know it's
definitely a rivalry.
it's-
definitely a rivalry. And
I'm just
Miles
saying that
said
changes.
stuff on a podcast.
That just changes, right?
Miles said
Like,
stuff on Analysis, right?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Where he said it was out of context, and that's not what he meant about Halliburton. But he did kind of like say some stuff about Halliburton.
Yeah,
Not
hey,
that-
I love it. I love the drama. I like honestly, if I'm Miles Turner, I wouldn't expect anything other than to get booed, like coming back.
if Bobby Portis got traded to the Pacers, would Bucks fans boo when he came back?
Not traded.
Bobby
Not if he
Portis.
was traded, but like did Miles Turner signed as a free agent,
Right,
right?
yeah.
So
I guess.
I get booing like in that sense because
If-
you chose to leave, but did you choose to leave? You should be booing the Pacers the whole time.
If
Just
Craig
boo your own team.
Counsell, if Craig Counsell left the Brewers to go to the Cubs, would he get booed coming back
Good-
to
good point,
Milwaukee?
good point.
Oh man, I don't know if that's ever going to change for him now.
No,
So I
no.
guess that's
There's a
good
big
point.
difference in being traded versus being, like Middleton being
there-
traded versus,
right,
if
yep,
he would have
mhm.
signed somewhere else in his prime, like and chose, you choose to leave versus you get
Yeah.
moved on from.
I did not love the pomposity of Bucks fans on Twitter last night, like calling out Pacers fans and being like, "We don't boo our guys," and it's like, yes, we do.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like that's
we
a
both-
classic. Take the
right,
high road and
right.
be like, "Oh yeah, we're better than you in
Yeah.
all things in the game and as fans.
Like-
we just don't do anything wrong."
What if I'm the Pacers fans? If I'm a Pacers fan and I'm at the game last night, I cheer for the video, but then I boo like on the court. Like
Yeah.
when he touches the ball, I boo.
Yeah.
You left me. Like
Thanks
you
for being
left.
here,
And
then-
you didn't just leave. You left for our rival. You left who we played in the first round the past 2 years. I'm going to boo you on the court. But when we play the tribute video of you spending your last 10 years like bleeding and sweating and all those things for the Indiana Pacers, for the fans, I'm cheering you during your video.
Yeah.
Come
No, I think that's a good point. Yeah. Kind of be like, all right, appreciate the time he gave. And then it's
Right.
like, all right, now we're going to boo you the rest of the game.
Well, and it was like when Willie Adames, remember his first at bat back at American Family Field. It's a huge cheer, uproar, everyone's
Yep.
excited. Then he homered, and then his second at bat, it was like boo.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Which,
okay, you
hey,
got
I love
that.
it. That's
Yeah.
that's what makes sports just awesome and exciting. And like playing that clip to start this segment off. I mean, Giannis makes this sport exciting. He does not
unbelievable.
suck. He is not bad. He is a really good basketball player.
34 points a game, 13.3 rebounds, 6.8 assists. That is all top 16 in the league, including first in points, third in rebounds, 16th in assists per game.
Still 5th in the league in betting for MVP.
That's crazy.
His numbers have improved, but SGA's 1, Wemby's 2, Jokic 3, Doncic 4, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Giannis 5, and then Anthony Edwards. And it's like it's such amazing disrespect. I mean, Saturday the Kings shot like the 5th most free throws in their franchise history.
Yeah.
The Bucks right now have faced in their 7 games have faced these top 5. Their opponents have shot in the top 5 most free throws, and the Bucks have shot in the bottom 5 number.
So
of
you're
free
going back to
throws.
the ref stuff, huh?
I am.
No.
It
You're
was
leaning back
well,
on
I
it.
mean, it was
Was
obvious,
it bad last night?
Yes, it was obvious Saturday. It was bad again last night. Like Giannis, toward the end of the game, has a drive where he gets hammered, and they call the ball out of bounds off the Pacers. And like he goes down, he gets smacked across the face and the arm. no call. And then like on the other end, there's like nothing. Oh, call. Oh, there's a call. It's like, it's
I did
insane.
see some soft ones on the other, on the other side for sure.
And it's like, all right, so I get it. It's 7 games in. Let's see how this plays out. But it seems like the NBA has caught the ESPN virus of anti-Giannis, anti-Bucks, anti-Milwaukee. And I think they're really picking on Milwaukee because of this national narrative. Get Giannis out of Milwaukee.
Doc Rivers spoke about it yesterday.
That's an interesting take. Yeah, like thinking of it that way is fascinating.
Any update on Giannis?
Yeah, well, the update is called a foul. That's the update. Giannis drove to the basket and got completely wiped out. Watch the video. I mean, he got completely wiped out, and it's a no call. It's amazing the difference of how Giannis is officiated, because even one of the refs even said, well, yeah, they're hitting his arms, but he's playing through it. I said, okay, it's still a foul. All right. He's strong enough to play through it. He's not going to let it stop him, but it's still a foul. I thought he got fouled so many times. And then their last play, what I was upset at, people complain about Shea pushing off. That last play, Siakam just a complete forearm, threw a guy out of the way, right in front of the official. He's almost challenging him. You know, like, we got to be consistent with calls. The great example, if Giannis did that, it's going to be an offensive foul.
Yeah. I mean, I love the word consistent. So it's like, be consistent. Either stop calling little ticky-tacky fouls all the time, or like everything, or you have to call it evenly both ways. Like, if it's a foul, even if it's a guy that like plays through contact, you have to call it, because SGA is going to get called because he flops and he throws himself around. How about the one where I don't know who was shooting it? Who was it on? Was it Naismith? Whenever he throws his legs out into AJ Green on the 3, and they called that foul.
Think it is Naismith. Yeah,
AJ Green's looking up and he's just like I literally tried to move out of the way. I was like not even in front of him, and he stuck his leg out and kicked me in the side. It's like, and they called that a foul. Like, so, yeah, the inconsistency with refereeing.
It has been stupid so far. It has been completely anti-Bucks and anti-Milwaukee. And I think the more we see it, the more we're going to lean into this narrative. Bucks play again tonight in Toronto at 6:30. Giannis is probable for this. I still think he's going to be a scratch. I'd be surprised if he played in this one. But they did list him as probable, which I think surprised a lot of people, even that he got listed as probable.
So are we still not looking at Bucks as potential contenders in this thing?
I mean,
they're looking pretty good, right?
They're fun.
It's like, they've played one game of a football season.
True.
You know, if they've played 7 out of 82 games, so they're 1-0. Are they a contender? Sure. But like we just got to November.
I like how they're looking right now, better than I did at the start of last season.
Yeah.
So
5-2 feels better than 2-8, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I like where they're headed. I like how this team is made up. I don't think there's just a lot of effort and grit and grind in this squad. So I think this team could really make a push here in the East.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the Packers because it is trade deadline day. We do have Tucker Kraft out, so we got to talk about Luke Musgrave. We got to talk about the kicker because it wouldn't be the Mason Crosby show if we didn't break down the kicking, because there are still 2 kickers on the active. Mason, how many times have you seen 2 kickers on the active roster?
Yeah,
doesn't happen that much, does it?
Does not.
No,
that is strange.
Yes, that is strange. So let's get to that, and then what Greg Olson had to say while watching the game as well. That Jordan Love, he had some pointed comments about Jordan Love and about the play calling and Matt LaFleur as well. Remember Rohan Katti from Eurostep Podcast talking Bucks at 1, Jason Hirschhorn at 1:20 from the Leap talking Packers. All sorts of things still to get to here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers.
No, I definitely say health-wise. I mean, he didn't kick for 2 straight weeks, so, but that's a process working through. But we felt confident in terms of what we've been seeing out at practice and just his ability to make them, because that's where it all starts for us. I mean, and he's been doing a great job in practice. And unfortunately, he missed the shorter of. I know he had 3 kicks, but unfortunately, he missed the shorter one and hit the longer one.
There is Matt LaFleur talking about Brandon McManus yesterday afternoon at his Monday press conference. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. We're in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I'm Mitch Nellis. He is Mason Crosby. And Mason, the Packers have 2 kickers. I feel like I don't know how much longer that's sustainable. Either they got to tell Haversick to good luck in his future endeavors, or they got to figure out if McManus is actually healthy or not.
Maybe they get a call to trade one of them. Who knows?
Do you think do you think they might have been waiting on that today?
I don't know. Maybe maybe they were holding on to Lucas, and like they're just seeing if they could get any trade bait going with any of these teams that might need a guy. But it is wild. I wasn't even thinking like the fact that Lucas is on the active roster, throughout the week, and and I get that. Like you go through the week, you have a good week. McManus doesn't seem to, to say he's dealing with health issue, is if you're practicing and doing your job, kicking throughout the week, like that's not an excuse in a game, right? Like it's just like you're either going in the week and you're playing in the game, and whatever happens, like you have to just accept that, the result, or you're not able to play in the game and you're injured, right? So like for me, that was always my thing. It was like, if I'm going to go into this game, back hurts, hip hurts, knee hurt, whatever.
Yep.
What if I say I am healthy enough to kick in the game, if I don't play well, that's on me. It's not on my injury. It's not on the ailment that I'm going through. So I don't like that rhetoric around it. Like we're all dealing with things physically.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the deal. So, and it's just like the numbers aren't great. I know everybody wants to jump and just say like Haversick is the answer. He's on the roster. Like if McManus is hurting, like just put him in. I mean, you paid McManus a lot of money to go out there and do his job, right? So
and he was great last year. And if he can get back to healthy, he probably can be great again this year.
Yeah. I mean, he was. He missed some kicks early in the season whenever he technically, I guess, was healthy.
This year,
yeah. Like he missed a game, kicking that first game, didn't he? Or in the second
he wasn't perfect.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Unless you're in that building and you're watching it and like talking and having those conversations every day. I feel like you have to stick with the guy that you paid all this money to, unless you're willing to move on, unless you're willing to do something like extreme here, which I know they're not going to, because they owe Brandon McManus a lot of money. Right. And they invested a lot into him. So I would be curious though, because obviously I was on that other side for a long time and had bad games, had bad seasons. Y'all can take the reins on this one, because I don't want to be the kicker, oh man, let's move on from a guy, or he has to get better, all these things. I know those things. I lived it for a long time. Yeah. So in your mindsets, I would love to hear what your mindset is on watching this from that perspective, from a different perspective.
I think McManus has to be the guy, but he's got to be healthy. Like if McManus is healthy, he's the guy, and that's the guy you have to move forward with. And you can only have one kicker on the roster, and that's it. That's the list.
Especially with Tucker Kraft hurt. I feel like you can't carry 2 active roster kickers much longer.
You need those points. You need him to be able to come through. You need him to come through in the clutch. You need him to make all the kicks he's expected to make. I know Haversick hit the 61-yarder, and that's great. But there's a reason he wasn't on a team to begin with.
Yeah, he's bounced around.
Right.
I mean, I really like Lucas, but he has not been able to carry.
But McManus has to be healthy. But he has to be healthy, and if he's not healthy, then you have to then you have to figure out, you can't do this week to week bull crap.
Yeah,
this is
but
crap.
he is. There's my argument though, is he is healthy. If he's kicking all week, he's doing well in practice. He's healthy. That's not we can't just throw that excuse.
Then LaFleur has to get rid of that excuse.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is I think get that excuse out of the equation. Dealing with something. I mean, come on, that that kind of conversation just like shouldn't exist. The only thing I could probably be a little like maybe salty about, like, and sorry to burst your bubble, but I didn't listen to you, Mitch, whenever you were probably ranting about me at times.
I
like,
hope you weren't.
I definitely weren't. I wasn't
been.
listening to those storylines, but it is one of those where, like, I don't know what's going on, and they lost a game by 3 points, like 2 games by 3 points.
Yeah,
like when I was in that position. If we lost the game by 3 points and I had missed a kick in the first quarter, I felt like the weight of the world came down on me. It was like, get rid of him. He missed the kick. He's awful. Like, we need a guy that can make those kicks. And it's like, are we being a little soft on this team? Like, overall? Like, they're 5-2. So like 5-2-1. They're not like, they're in a fine position. So we should give them like the benefit of the doubt in some spaces. But 2 of the games they lost have been by 3 points and game-winning field goals.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky that Tommy didn't have the platform at 12 years old.
I know, Tommy. If I had heard you talking, I mean,
you would have heard.
We wouldn't be working together. I'd be like, I can't work with this guy.
You would have heard. Here's the problem that I have. You bring it up, right, about how the wind is such a crazy situation in Green Bay, how the flags are going one way and it really is going the other way, right? You can't come up short on a 48-yard field goal and that be the same week a guy in Jacksonville kicks a 68-yard field goal. Like, that is such a drastic difference. And if he's coming up short, because when he missed his kick, it was off to the side, but he also was short on it. And maybe that's a mishit, and that's probably what it is. But that's a kick that right now in today's NFL almost needs to be automatic. Like 48 yards, I know that's not an automatic kick, but you need to convert on that opportunity way more often than it needs to be blocked.
Then it seems
much.
Then it seems like McManus is missing.
And here's the other part I have on this. From being this experience as a Packer fan, whatever the Packers decide to do, they're going to make the wrong decision because the universe is against them on special teams. Like 100%.
You're not wrong. I like that take.
Did you
see the punt return, like average punt return number? It's like 5 yards.
I mean, that's because they don't even know who's returning the punts. Like,
worse since 2020, which was also the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not worried about it at all.
What's wrong with them?
This is what's going to happen. It's either they're going to ride with McManus and then he's going to stink and then Haversick will go somewhere and be awesome, or they're going to ride with Haversick and then McManus is going to go somewhere else and be awesome. Like, it's whoever gets put into this is going to be screwed. It doesn't feel like there's any positive now. And we're right back in the same boat that we were in 14 months ago on who the hell is going to kick footballs for the Green Bay Packers.
At least those guys didn't go somewhere and be awesome. Like they did come out ahead on that. Andrews Carlson and whatever that other guy's name, Narvison. Yeah, neither of them ended up being anything anyway. I do think because of the money, you have to give McManus the chance. But he's got to be healthy.
There is a potential.
And if he's not, make a move.
There is a potential out after this year on a 1-year, $7 million deal with McManus, it looks like, according to Spot Track. So that's something I think is interesting if Green Bay is like, hey, maybe if we just have 2 kickers this whole year.
I'm sure they made the deal and like where it's like, all right, if like this just doesn't work, we can move on. But yeah, I think they can right the ship. They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it back in order.
I sure hope so.
That's my optimism.
That's enough kicking talk. We didn't even get to the tight ends. We got so bogged down by kickers. Rohan Katti's going to join us coming up. Eurostep podcast. We're going to talk some Bucks with him. Jason Hirschhorn will bring us back to the trade deadline and to all the Packers talk. He's co-founder of The Leap. He'll be joining us at about 1:20. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Oh, kicker talk.
Yep, first hour down. End of high noon.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
Let's try to open it up after the screen. Screen comes.
And then a group of 4, 3, 2, 1. Fades, shoots, and hits at the
You
buzzer.
gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. That is the Indiana Pacers broadcasting network call of the win last night for our Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis making that last second fadeaway jumper, crazy shot to beat the G League team of the Indiana Pacers 117-115, improving the Bucks to 5-2. And I know, just for you, Mason, I got to get this before we get to our guest. If ...
I hate this already.
Oh, you hate it?
Me
Yeah.
too.
If the playoffs were to start today,
I knew it.
the Bucks would be the 3 seed in
Oh,
the
heck
East.
yeah.
They would be home against the Knicks.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
No,
winning
yeah.
that series all day.
The Sixers and the Bulls are both 5-1. The Bucks are 5-2.
Through the
gosh.
first 2 weeks
Let's
of
go.
the
In
football
hunt.
season,
Yeah.
the Badgers were on track to make the college football playoff.
That's
as
right.
well. Just
The
remember
Badgers were supposed to play in the Orange Bowl this year. Instead,
That's
they
what
will
I
not
mean.
play at all.
That's where they were lined up after 2 weeks.
They were
was a
going to
good one.
Miami to
I
play
like
that
that
first
one.
round
They were going to
in the college football playoffs after 2 weeks. This is the Mason Crosby Show. We are presented by Verizon. Welcome into hour number 2. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Tommy Wirtz. And, of course, the kicker, the Mason Crosby. Not the only Mason Crosby, but the Mason Crosby. Joining us now from the Eurostep podcast, Rohan Katti. Rohan, thanks for jumping on today. Can you have...
Thank you for having me. What an absolute pleasure it is.
Yeah, you bet.
Hey.
All right. So I got, first of all, Rohan, I don't know what you got going on behind you, but like it looks like you are a mathematician, statistician, something going on with graphs and numbers. And I'm an idiot, so pretend I'm stupid because you don't have to pretend I am. What's going on over there?
Oh, that completely off topic. That is a poster detailing ethanol inhibition in certain receptors in neurons. So basically talking about how it's a lot. It's a lot and it's very complex, but I could spend an entire hour talking about that.
That's what I would have guessed. Like, that's what I thought it was. So like, perfect. That's nailed it. Yeah.
That'll be a whole nother show. We'll dive into those, the neurons. We need a lot of help in those space, the brain neurons and in our firing of all of that. But yeah, we got to talk about this game last night and what Giannis was able to do. Obviously Mitch keeps calling the Indiana Pacers of the G League. They are not the team that they were last year. So just talk about this Bucks team and what they were able to do last night and how you feel they look to start this season off.
It's been an interesting start to the season, right? You come out here, you have a lot of expectations. It almost feels like you have to get off to a really fast start because of all of the rumors and the rumblings and like what's going to happen with Giannis and all these sorts of fun conversations that no one wants to have. And then they come out and they actually are winning games. It's been a while. It's been a couple of years since the Bucks have had a strong start to the season. Obviously, last year they had a very poor start to the season, and it's good to see them come out here with just a lot of similar players in place, yet they were able to come out with a new sense of identity. They're faster, they're more athletic, they are playing with a pace that we haven't seen them play with in years. it's been really fun for the first time in a few years. It's really fun watching Bucks basketball again. They go out there, they play their game. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I know what cohesive game plan they're going to have, and I know what type of basketball they're going to play, and that's really refreshing.
Wow, yeah, talking about like an identity, right? We've been talking about Packers identity a lot here this week and throughout the season. So the Bucks having that defined, like we know what their identity is, and that is awesome. Who on this team has surprised you to start this season, and just who have you been impressed with so far, other than Giannis? Obviously, he's always impressive on this Bucks team.
Yeah, Giannis is the obvious answer, leading candidate for MVP. It's awesome. But I the guy who's been making the headlines recently, and someone I've been really, really a fan of since he signed that contract on a two-way last year, it has to be Ryan Rollins. He was thrust into a starting role. I predicted before the season that he was going to win this starting job anyway, but unfortunately it comes due to injury, but it's happening nonetheless. He's still really, really young, 23 years old, just playing his first like real NBA season. I believe he's played fewer minutes in his NBA career than some rookies played last year altogether. So he's still like learning how to play basketball at the NBA level, and being able to come out here and be a legitimate scoring guard for the Bucks for the first time in like 6 years don't have a bona fide star point guard. It's wild to see. The Bucks have been the victim of many other teams' great development stories over the years. The Bucks finally have one of their own. They have a guy who was thrown away by the Warriors and the Wizards, and Ryan Rollins has come in here. He's played with the Wisconsin Herd. He's worked his way from a two-way onto a full roster spot and been able to really showcase that he's a legitimate scoring guard at all three levels. He really handles the pace of games really, really well, and he's treating the game like he is a veteran, even though he's still learning. Like I was saying, I think Draymond Green said on his podcast the other day that he was trying to get in Ryan Rollins' head. Didn't work, and Ryan Rollins kind of punked it.
Nice.
You're going up against the best of the best, and you're still able to perform at that high level, especially when the Bucks were looking for a guy to take over as who's gonna be their second leading scorer, right? We know what first is gonna be. Who is gonna be that guy that steps up? And so far, it looks like it's just been Ryan Rollins.
Nice. Yeah, Rohan, like obviously Miles Turner going back to Indiana, playing the Pacers. They did a tribute video and like booed him, periods through that. How do you think Miles Turner has looked, for the Bucks? Like what are kind of your predictions for him as this season progresses? Sorry.
Offensive side and the defensive side. Defense, he's been fitting in like a glove, right? He's blocking shots. He's playing really, really well next to Giannis. That is a front court that you are going to struggle to score against if you're any team in the NBA. Weird front courts are the way that teams are going, like OKC, Chet Holmgren, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Like, you look at the Knicks, who have done things with Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson when he's been healthy. You look at the Cavaliers, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, the Bucks in years past with Giannis and Pez. It's that mold. Defense is amazing. Offensively, it's been a little bit of a struggle to start the season shooting wise. This is a guy who shot more than 40% from three last year as a member of the Indiana Pacers. This year, he's only at 34% on a similar volume. So I don't expect that to really hold. Considering he's been a consistently good shooter. I think it's part of the nerves, how do you adjust to a new team, that sort of thing. I'm not too worried. I've noticed a few possessions across these limited sample of games that we've had thus far, where he's, passing up shots that he could take. He's trying to get other people involved, making another pass when he can just take it. They're trying to get a great shot instead of a good shot. I think he just needs to find the confidence within himself to say like, hey, I'm a good player. I can shoot the ball. I can score pretty well. And that's going to come with time. I didn't expect it to be an amazing start right away. But from what we've seen thus far, especially in the defensive end, it's been an amazing addition. Just being able to see a Bucks center hang on the perimeter against like premier NBA wings is like, it's a foreign concept to me. The Bucks have never really had a center who can do that, like ever. So just being able to see that is amazing. Like they feel like a modern NBA team now in the way that they play defense. So it's great.
Rohan Katti from the Eurostep podcast joining us on the Mason Crosby show. And he's joining us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Rohan, the Bucks quick turnaround tonight. They're in Toronto for a 6:30 tip. I know Giannis was listed as probable, which surprised some of us after banging his knee last night and already having some knee issues. Do you expect Giannis to play tonight? And what are you watching for specifically tonight, whether he plays or not?
If I would expect him to play, though there has been already an occurrence this season where he's been listed as probable and didn't end up playing. That was last week. But you see if Giannis is playing against this Toronto Raptors team, who has been just subpar, especially compared to the expectations coming in, I would look to them to say, can we score at an efficient rate and can we defend at an efficient rate? We've seen the Bucks play against two middling teams, 2 games in a row now, against the Sacramento Kings and now the Indiana Pacers. They lost against the Kings and they barely beat the Pacers. And this is, a team that wants to do things this season, has aspirations. And you've seen them play well against teams like the Knicks and the Cavaliers, who have had their own issues thus far. But I'm looking for them to come out here and make a statement. Giannis's comments after that Cavaliers loss going to that Knicks game, he was like, no, we can't lose 2 games in a row. We're not going to be able to do that. I expect them to come out here and try to make a statement. You want to assert yourself as a dominant team. You want to assert yourself as a team that has aspirations to go deep into the playoffs this year. You have to show it. You have to beat teams that you should beat, regardless of whether Giannis plays or not. And especially if Giannis plays. I know it's a back-to-back. I know it's, a road back-to-back. It's tough on players, but you still have to do it. Everyone faces these circumstances. Everyone else has these similar challenges. So you have to go out there and be able to showcase, we are a good team. We are a force to be reckoned with in this weaker Eastern Conference, and we can take advantage of the circumstances around us. So you have to go out there and you have to beat up on the Toronto Raptors. I expect them to rely a lot on their outside shooting because Toronto is such a rangy defensive team, but I also want to see how they limit their guards. The Toronto guard play has not been great this season, and the Bucks defense against guards has been good. Like Ryan Rollins is a good defender, but you want to be able to say, okay, we can shut down these guards. Because I talked about earlier with Miles Turner and Giannis, they can shut down the front court. Can you shut down opposing wings? Can you shut down opposing guards? That's what I'd be looking for, even if Giannis doesn't play.
Nice. Yeah. I'm just thinking about like the East and some of these, the teams that are obviously good and like some of these expectations, but seemingly a more wide open conference this year. Have there been teams so far that have underachieved in your mind and teams that have overachieved like in that conference, in this early sample size of a season, but are there teams that you expect to be better than what everyone thought to start the season?
It's funny. One of the teams that I've been kind of shocked by is the Orlando Magic. I expected them to kind of take a leap this year, especially with the weakened East. And they've been really kind of disappointing for me. They're below 500. They're 3-4. The season's still early, but it doesn't seem right. Last year, they were building good habits. Even though Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, I believe, missed a combined 62 games last year, they were one team that I predicted would kind of ascend into this, fill the vacuum in the Eastern Conference. So that's one team that's really disappointed me. One team that's just impressing me by far is the Philadelphia 76ers. And they're doing this off amazing backcourt play from Tyrese Maxey. VJ Edgecombe is playing really, really well as a rookie. They're getting Jared McCain, who was a favorite for Rookie of the Year last year before he got hurt. They're getting him back, I believe, today. And this is without Joel Embiid playing amazing basketball. This is with Paul George not having played a game this season. They like a good game this season. They are not, fully healthy in any respect, and yet they're still out here and they're 5. They're a force to be reckoned with. I think that they took advantage of the gap year that they had last year with Embiid not playing very much at all. So if they're able to get consistent play out of Maxey, out of Edgecombe, maybe McCain comes back, and like whatever you get from Paul George at that point is just a bonus. So I'm really impressed with the 76ers. I don't think the Bulls, I don't think that team is sustainable at all. They've been a good story, 5-1. Not impressed. I think they're going to fall off soon. If they don't, I'd be surprised.
I like hearing that.
Yeah, for sure. We don't want the Bulls to be good. Rohan, thank you so much for jumping on and taking some time with us today. Talk some Milwaukee Bucks early in the season, 5-2. They've been fun to follow so far, and of course, it feels like it's Milwaukee and the Bucks against the world. Whether they're trying to get the Giannis traded out of Milwaukee or every foul call goes against the Bucks, it's time for us to have Milwaukee pride, to have Wisconsin pride, to have Bucks pride, and say enough is enough. We're here, and we're going to make a statement this season. And so far, so good. So
it's been so much fun. I can't wait to see it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for jumping on. We'll definitely talk again. Good luck with the ethanol study and all the numbers and all the charts and everything. We'll dive deep into that next time we have you on.
Appreciate it, Rohan.
Thank you.
All right. That is Rohan Katti from the Eurostep podcast. He joined us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Mason, did you understand one word of like what he, about those charts and all that sort of stuff? Because
you asked the question and all I heard, were neurons and like my brain like fritzed out.
It sounded like smart stuff.
Some updated news in case anyone didn't hear, but we found out during that Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 2026 first-round pick.
He's given another first-round pick to the Jets.
Wow.
Like, it's just kind of wild.
So,
oh, you there? What's going on?
I think we're back.
Well, that's not going to mess with that's not going to mess with the network at all.
What just happened?
Hello, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
We got tested in the middle of it.
We got
right
FCC'd.
There. All right.
Okay. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, we're back.
Mason, the feds are at your door. They're going to take you into custody.
Y'all are just staring. You just went silent and were staring up.
I mean, there wasn't much we could do right there. So that was on us. But the Jets now 3 first-round picks heading into 2026, 2 heading into 2027. The rumors even say first round pick and more heading over right now, waiting on the finalized deal. But
who's getting Brent Wilson?
I was just gonna say, how about Jerry Jones, like just flipping that pick to get Quinnen Williams, right?
He said he was gonna do something.
So tell me about Quinnen Williams, because like pretend I don't cover the AFC.
Well, Cowboys are still trying to stop the run. I think. Yeah, that's
is he another big
he's an interior
guy in the middle?
lineman.
Okay, he's an interior guy. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been really good. As an excellent player, but
3-time Pro Bowlers.
I don't know how his recency, his stats have been as of late, but yes, in time, like through his career, he's been an awesome interior D
Grant
lineman.
Wilson to the Steelers to play with Aaron Rodgers. They got along so well in New York the first time. Might as well just
stop.
Run it back, right?
I mean, the most famous thing about Quinnen Williams is definitely this moment from draft night a few years ago.
To the different character things. Listen, thank you that I got here. So,
do you guys know what that video is?
No. What did he do?
What was going on?
Quinnen Williams is getting interviewed on draft day. He sneezes, he says "bless you," and he says "thank you" all to himself right there in that little.
Nice.
So
that's what was going on.
That was all Quinnen Williams.
Bless you and thank
Good
you.
for him.
If you didn't,
to the different character things. Listen, thank you that I got here.
Oh my God!
Just living in his own head.
Mrs. Thunder will sneeze at home and yell "bless me," and she's like, but she's in the middle of 3 sneezes, and I'm like, I'm not blessing you till you're done with the sneezes.
Well, I get you saying bless me,
right.
but he was having a conversation with himself.
Amazing.
Bless you, thank you.
All right, Triple H, Jason Hirschhorn from The Leap will join us next to talk about the NFL trade deadline. Will the Packers make a move? Do you want the Packers to make a move? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. Shoot us your text. Who do you want the Packers to trade for, if it's a specific person or if it's a position group that you want the Packers to have their eye on? They're not getting Quinnen Williams, though. He's going to the Cowboys, and the Jets have 47 first-round picks in the next couple of years. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Jason Hirschhorn is next.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Mason Crosby Show. We are presented by Verizon. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder, and we are in the midst of a New York Jets fire sale. Trade everybody. Let's go.
Yeah, the Aaron Glenn era is not going well for vets over there. The veteran players are on their way out.
But maybe they like Glenn and they like the spirit he's brought and they want to get rid of the old blood.
Control freak.
Oh, I like that.
I can't believe that they traded away their pick and not the Packers pick.
You're talking about Dallas.
Right? Yeah, they traded the 2027 first round pick.
Yes.
What are they doing?
Yeah, they're dumb.
I can't believe that Aaron Glenn made Aaron Rodgers fly across the country to tell him they weren't bringing him back and leave the room. I still can't believe that story. Like, it's so obnoxious.
Exactly.
Aaron
Glenn, control freak.
Yeah.
His pants are going to get tighter and tighter. I mean, at some point they might be shorts. Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, they did block a field goal and lose a game, but they got that cool moment out of him walking up and down. That was cool. He looked smooth doing that.
He looks smooth.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, want to let everybody know that on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's with Sparky today, John McLaughlin, Mr. Buck, is going to be on at 3:00, and Ty Dunn, who does a lot of great NFL coverage. He is with, let's see, do I have this here? NFL trade. Yep. golongtd.com. He'll be on at 3:40. Joining us now with fantastic NFL and Green Bay Packers coverage is our good friend, the way better looking than me, Jason Hirschhorn. Jason, how you doing?
I'm just trying to make sure that the Jets didn't trade me too. So like everybody else, I'm wondering what is going on in New York.
Well, I mean,
trade everybody.
Yeah. Whenever you're bad, I guess it's like, and you have a new coach and you're going in a different direction. It's like, all right, get rid of all the veterans and let's just try to build this thing. I mean, it's a disaster out there in New York. So I'm sure those guys aren't upset about getting out of there and going to some better organizations for their opportunity for sure. But appreciate you jumping on, Jason. Who are the Packers trading for?
Yeah,
I mean, are there any Jets that that the Packers would want? Because it seems like they're open for anything over there.
Yeah, I don't know that the Jets have the types of players still at this point that the Packers would be interested, but I do think there are opportunities for Green Bay before the 3 p.m. Central trade deadline. Some of these names have already been thrown out, but I will repeat them here. Michael Mayer, the backup tight end for the Las Vegas Raiders. I actually don't think it's crazy given what the contract is. They could also consider if they want to go down the tight end route. They could go Zach Ertz with Washington. Remember, that's a team whose season is clearly over after Jaden Daniels suffered that very gruesome elbow injury. Ertz actually has a pretty decent cap number for Washington, but if he's traded, the inherited contracts for Green Bay or any team goes down to about $2 million. That's like almost the veteran minimum at this point for a player with his number of years. So he is not the Zach Ertz that people might remember from that like crazy period with the Eagles, but he's still a veteran who gives effort. He can be a useful receiver from that position. You can line him up in more than one place. He doesn't just have to be that wide tight end. And that's not the type of move we typically see from Green Bay at the trade deadline. Usually they're giving away veterans for draft picks, not adding them in like this. But under the circumstances with Tucker Kraft out for the year, I think they would have to at least consider some of these options, because even if they like Luke Musgrave, and I think that they do, and even if they like John Fitzpatrick, and again, I think that they do, they want to have a lot of 12 personnel, and those are literally only 2 tight ends on the 53-man roster right now, unless you count Tucker Kraft, who technically has not been placed on IR yet. Like, if you want to do that, you need more bodies and guys that you can trust. I don't think it's crazy they would consider adding somebody like that.
Now, I really like that, how you broke it down, like understanding his contract piece. I mean, with this team, and we've talked about their identity and seeking that out and what they're going to be, I wouldn't be opposed to them bringing in a veteran player that has been on some really good squads to come in and try to shore up what they're trying to do there on offense, and just give them a security blanket in short yardage situations. He's not going to stretch the field anymore, but definitely a guy that can be relied upon and in those tough down situations. So I really like that take. What else Yeah, what else have you seen going on? I mean, the trade, Sauce Gardner going to the Colts. There's a lot of moves going on. I mean, you're talking tight ends. I know they kind of kicked the tires on why can't I say his name? Achane, Achane. It just doesn't make sense with the E at the end. I get confused every time.
You're not wrong.
So what do you think there's any world where they go and try to get a player like that? It will add something to the running back or defensive side of the ball. Any thoughts on that?
I have been surprised by Packers moves before, so I will never say that there's no chance. But I don't find that to be terribly likely. This is a team that does need to generate more explosive in the run games. You can make that argument there. But this is a Dolphin staff, or what's left of it, in terms of like the coaching staff still intact, but the general manager's already gone. And Mike McDaniel apparently still has a chance to keep his job beyond 2025. If that's the case, I don't think they can justify getting rid of Devin Achane unless it's just a slam dunk move from their perspective. So are the Packers willing to pay a premium for a running back that has had some durability concerns? That doesn't seem like the kind of move that Brian Gutekunst would make. Again, I've been surprised by Packers moves before, so I'm not going to say that there's 0% chance, but that one would be like near the very top of the shock-o-meter for me.
All right. Jason Hirschhorn joining the Mason Crosby Show. Let's rewind back to the Carolina game, and then I want to fast forward to what's going on with the Eagles.
Can we just throw it in the garbage, Mason?
I want to recap. I want to talk about it some more. Jason, I want to hear your insight. So tell us your thoughts from this Carolina game, what that impact might have on the plan moving forward against the Eagles, and just kind of your overall thoughts.
Well, the biggest long-term takeaway is obviously that Tucker Kraft injury, but there's not a lot more to say about that, right? Like, the best pass catcher on the Packers is no longer going to be available. But there are other changes that could come from this game. And I don't mean necessarily personnel changes or some change to the coaching staff. I mean a change in the approach from Matt LaFleur. That final possession that Green Bay had at the end of the first half, it was very conservative in terms of the play calls. I know he had timeouts. I know they started off with more than 2 minutes, so you don't have to necessarily be aggressive at every stop. But until they were forced to put the ball in Jordan Love's hands with those penalties, remember they had those 2 penalties on run plays early in that possession, they just weren't looking to pass, and certainly not pass deep down the field. Now, you don't have to make every pass a deep shot, but it did seem that in that game, and especially on that drive in some other situations, he was not willing to be aggressive. And then, very strangely, they get into that 4th and 8. Remember, that was back-to-back plays on 2nd and 3rd down. That was the same play call. And on one, he goes through Romeo Dobbs on the slide. The other one, they go to the screen concept on the other side of the play. But it was the same call. The defense for the Panthers had seen that and basically knew what they were going to have to defend once they saw that alignment. So that was a very strange sequence. 4th and 8, decided to go for it. And I know people love to blame analytics when a team goes for it on 4th down. That is not what the numbers said you should do in that situation. It was a very strong, you should kick this. So I do think they're going to have internally a discussion on how do we get these decisions to align better? Why are we so conservative here and overly aggressive in this other situation in the same game? I think they need to, in some situations, put the ball in Jordan Love's hands and say, we're not going to ask you to just do this quick game check down stuff. We're going to try to make you push the ball down the field with the plays that we're sending in. And then you don't necessarily have to be in those 4th and 8 decisions as often. So I think that's going to be the biggest change that comes out of it. It may not necessarily be the change that fans are looking for. I know that a lot of them want to see, a big swing before the trade deadline, but just getting the team in better situations via the play calls, via the game plan, can have as big of an impact for this team as any personnel acquisition they can make right now.
Well, I mean, that's a great thought. Do you think LaFleur and this, this offense is going to be willing to make those changes and stick to them? Because I did see a stat, like Jordan Love, I think 25% of his passes have been like 0 to 3 yards, which is the most in the NFL. And then I think it was like 10 to 19 yards like that, like down the field. Or I think it might have been 19 plus yards down the field. I think he's like the 3rd fewest attempts in that range. So what do you think? Like, do you think Coach LaFleur can make that change and actually like put that plan in place and stick to it?
I think that he can, and we've seen a version of these Packers with Matt LaFleur calling the plays do that kind of thing. Now, those stats are a little misleading because a lot of those passes are in RPOs where the quarterback does choose to pass it, and in that kind of situation, those are not deep passes down the field, obviously, because you can't wait for the receivers to get that far down the field because your offensive lineman will be too far to throw a pass. So that's a little bit of it. But it's also, they have in some situations lived in like short passes, not necessarily quick game, but like where most of the routes, most of the concepts are less than 10 yards away, and some of them less than 5 yards away. I think that there needs to be obviously some of that, but probably less. They have a quarterback who is playing at an extremely high level. This is the best version of Jordan Love that we have seen since at least that like back end of 2023 run. And I think overall, probably a better player right now. I think they can trust Jordan Love in those situations. Like, yeah, he's going to make mistakes because all of the quarterbacks make mistakes. And I know he had the underthrow to Christian Watson in the triple coverage this past week. That was his only real huge glaring error. And by the standards of most quarterbacks in the NFL right now, you can live with that. This is a guy who has 3 interceptions going into week 10. He has a lower turnover worthy play rate than like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Like, this is a guy who has been very careful overall with the ball. It's just that the mistakes that he's made that have led to turnovers have been very loud. So that kind of changes the discourse about him, but they can trust him in these situations. The numbers bear that out. And they have weapons, at least the ones that are still there, that actually do make sense for a more vertical passing game. So I think that the Packers are going to look at all this, see what happened in the Panthers game, and say that we need to do some version of change where we're putting the ball in Jordan Love's hands more often, and we're trusting to make plays and not just on these little like dump off plays. We're not talking about screens necessarily. We're talking about stuff further down the field because that's what teams are afraid of. There's a reason why the Panthers were begging the Packers to run most of the game. It's because they're more afraid of what Jordan Love can do if he's throwing the ball deep.
I like that, Jason. Something that I saw also today, and I know Mitch loves power rankings and week to week, rankings of where the teams are. So I had to bring this up, and I wanted to ask you. Nationally, it looks like a lot of these, prognosticators or whatever are picking, sent the Packers out of the top 10. Do you think that's fair after a game like this for them not to be considered one of the top 10 best teams in the NFL? I mean, they still have Lions at 4, and they lost to the Minnesota Vikings. So where do you think this Packers team is after a loss like that to the Carolina Panthers whenever they were considered one of the best teams prior to that game?
There's a lot of ways to answer that question, but I'm going to go with this route. They are a team with the best record in a division that had no teams with a losing record. They have, as it stands, they control their path to the number 1 seed. They're not there at this moment, but given what they have in front of them, they don't need help to get there. That is all true. They still have a defense that is performing at a very high level despite some of the injuries that they've had. And they might get Lucas Van Ness, for example, back this week. That would obviously be very important for them. And it's an offense that, even though it is banged up, still has more meat on the bone. And even in its current form, it's still one of the 10 best offenses in the NFL, by basically any metric that you look at. So you take all that together, and yeah, the Panthers' loss was disappointing, and not just for those who follow the Packers, but that feels like oversteering to me. Like, this is still one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL, not just the conference, in the entire league. And I think that they probably need to be reconsidered if people are saying they're not one of the 10 best teams in the NFL.
All right. Well, at least we're on the same page. Mitch, what do you think on that?
I mean, I think I think the power rankings clearly indicate the postseason success of every single team in the NFL.
Hey, if the season ended today, Mitch, they're in the playoffs.
They win the division. They won the division.
If the season ended today, the Packers have a home game. Okay, they are playing. They are the 4 seed. They are playing against the LA Rams in Green Bay. Okay, bring on the Rams.
Yeah, Rams can't play in Green Bay.
Put it in Sharpie. That'll be the matchup.
All right, Jason, before we let you go, what do you think? What do you think of this week? How do you think they match up against the Eagles? What's your hope and prediction for this game on Monday night?
Well, the Eagles actually approach defense very similarly to how the Panthers do. Ejiro Evero, the DC for the Panthers, came out of that Fangio system via, among other things, Brandon Staley. So a lot of the things that they practiced last week or they planned for, they can still use this week. And if they make the adjustments we talked about, if they're willing to find ways, whether it's moving Christian Watson more into the slot and having him run more vertical routes so they can actually take some of those too high looks somewhat out of the equation. Those are things that are available to them even without Tucker Kraft, even with some potential injuries along the offensive line. I think that they match up in that sense well. Now, the running game does have to be a little better. One of the things you have to do against teams that are playing that much quarters in cover 6 is run the ball effectively. But they were efficient running the ball against the Panthers. They just didn't have the explosives. I think if they change those things that we discussed, and they're not huge changes, they're really just what you're calling and when you're calling them, they can take advantage there because that Eagles offense, even if we assume that A.J. Brown is back, remember, he's coming off his own injury. Even if you assume that they're going to be better, it's still not a particularly dominant offense. Like, they're good. Obviously, they can generate explosive with those receivers, with Saquon Barkley in the backfield. But this is not the Eagles' offense of last season. So the Packers' defense should have some opportunities there. And the Packers' offense can generate more opportunities than they did against the Panthers. And if you add those things together with the extra day of rest for them and with the home field advantage, I do think it stacks up pretty well for them, even though they're coming off of that disheartening loss.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Jason. Fellas, if y'all got anything else, shoot. But if not, we're
I think that the next thing to say is and it would surprise none of us if the Packers go out and beat Philly, right?
It would, which is for our earlier point, right?
Yep,
Like, this is
exactly.
a team that, despite the loss, is still very dangerous.
And then the next week they'll lose badly, and then the next week they'll beat somebody they shouldn't. Then the next week, it's just such, and it's not just the Packers. I mean, we're seeing this all over the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, the Detroit Lions just had their own disheartening loss to the Minnesota Vikings. It just didn't get the same amount of attention because, among other things, the Packers had a more disheartening loss at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it was just because of the expectation, how expectations can also make things a lot worse. I mean, a 13.5-point favorite
point spreads. I think
at
spread,
home.
yep.
I think everyone leans so heavy into those betting lines now that it's like that is tied for the worst since the 1970 merger I saw for the Green Bay Packers. So technically, if you want to look at it that way, it is one of the worst losses they've had in the regular season.
Yeah, and I think it was Dave Helmy who made this point. You like to think that the quote unquote a Super Bowl quality team wouldn't have that loss, but then you look at past Super Bowl winning teams, and they almost all have one or two losses like that over the course of the regular season, not even just early in the season. Like the Eagles last year I can't remember the opponent off the top of my head, but like a terrible loss late in 2024, and obviously did not matter. So the Packers losing to the Panthers is obviously not a good thing for them. It is also not a death sentence, and teams of their quality can have down games and rebound the following week to beat superior opponents. Very real chance that happens this Monday.
All right, Jason, thank you so much for jumping on today. We will definitely catch up with you soon.
All right, take care, guys.
You bet. That's Jason Hirschhorn, co-founder of The Leap, of the newsletter. Find The Leap everywhere you find your newsletters. Jason joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. When we come back, it'll be Mason's Extra Points here on the Mason Crosby Show.
Yes, sir.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today?
Now I'm thinking.
It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis.
Tell me what's on your mind.
On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, fellas, great show. It's Human Tuesday. A lot of humanness. I wanted Tommy to just play a quick clip because I wanted to talk about Jordan Love a little bit in my Extra Points.
Yeah, the clip that Mason Crosby is looking for comes from Wake Up Barstool yesterday. This is Greg Olson talking about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers down the line here in 2025.
It played out exactly the way Carolina needed it to play out to pull a game like that off. And it was to play limited possessions, play ball control. They made the decision. They won the toss. They took the ball, kept Green Bay on the sideline. Now, part of that was the wind and the weather, and it was kind of a crazy day wind-wise, and the kicking and the passing game was a bit kind of disjointed. But it was Green Bay touched the ball 8 times, didn't punt, and scored 13 points. It's just I think they need to put the game more in Jordan Love's hands. They are a good passing offense going into that game. I had Jordan Love as a top 5 guy through the first half of the year. He was a top 5 quarterback in the league this season.
Man, I mean, we've been saying it like all season long for weeks now, is just give the keys over to Jordan Love. Let him, don't limit who he's throwing to. Don't draw up plays that it just literally puts him in a vacuum of where he needs to go. Let him just give him the offense. Let him go. I don't like that storyline of Carolina did exactly how is the Carolina Panthers, how are they able to dictate to the Green Bay Packers how they're going to play? It should never be that way. The Carolina Panthers, a team like that, should be chasing the Green Bay Packers the whole game. You dictate how you want to play. Don't ever stop playing to your opponent. Stop playing down to your opponent, up to your opponent. Get an identity, force it in down their throats every game. And then the weather stuff, it's Green Bay Packers. The weather should not that should be an advantage for this Packers team. Lean into it, embrace it. This squad, this group from the top down, tough. It just needs to get tougher. It just needs to be they need to find a toughness to overcome that storyline, overcome these things. Let Jordan Love seems to be, he is a tough guy. He is willing to put himself on the line. He'll stand in there, take shots. Let him do his thing, and then let this defense just go after it. This team needs to get up early on teams. They need to score fast, and then let their defense go after the other team. So that's my extra points for the day.
Preach it, Mace. Preach it. Hey,
you should have seen me last night coaching 8-year-old basketball.
We need 2 updates: coaching and birthday. Go.
Well, I ordered my whistles last night. After I realized, man, I need some whistles. Okay. I got multiple just in case. I might wear that thing out. Yeah. I got my dry erase basketball clipboard. Yep. I'm ready to go. They were so dialed in. It was honestly, I've never thought sports were cute, but they're the cutest sports players in the world. Come on. I mean, are you kidding me? They're just so they were so happy playing. I was like, man, this is the best.
Herding cats. Little herding cats.
Yeah, they were great, and then we tried to do a little scrimmage at the end, and it was chaos. And I'm like, okay, good to know. Yep. I need to really divide them out, and then we'll start playing games.
You got to start spelling Crosby with a K.
There you go.
Coach K.
Wow. That's right.
10 seconds. How's the birthday?
Birthday was good. Yep, we survived. Had a good night. Watched F1 last night. So I was
bought her a new
excited.
Car. It's all good.
Yep, just a rental. Yeah, we're just why the car's in the shop. We're all good. Everything was cleared up.
I told everybody that story at dinner last night at my buddy Jonah's birthday dinner. Funny. Everybody loved it. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. We're in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Human Wednesday tomorrow.
Yeah, buddy.